Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now I am so excited about this video because I'm going to use a process I've never used before. I saw this trending about 2 years ago. I bought all the materials, I set them aside, and I kind of forgot about them. Well, I recently thought about the process, dragged them out, and that's what we're going to do today. So what is this process? You start with a t-shirt. Mine happens to have 3/4 length sleeves, but any t-shirt will do. Then you cut a design out of the Caesar Easy Weed Adhesive HTV. Once you've done that, you're going to weed it just like normal, and you're going to press it onto your shirt. So that leaves some adhesive exposed that you're going to put some foil on. So I have 2 different types of foils, a lot of different colors, and we'll talk more about these once we get started. In addition to that, I have a Teflon sheet, I have some scissors, I have my computer to find my design. You could make your own if you wanted to. I'm going to cut my design out on a Cricut, and then once it's time to start heating things up, I'm going to use my HTV auto press that you see right back here. So if this is something you're interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Now, before I change the camera angle, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. If you do, tap the bell and then select the all notification. That way YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. I want to show you my design really quickly, but before I do, I want to show you this. Creative Fabrica is having their Christmas in July special. If you get a 1-year all access membership, you get a free gift, and it says it is Caesar HTV plus tools. You can find additional information right here on what that all access pass gets you. I'm going to go ahead and put my affiliate link in the video description just in case you're interested in getting that. Now the way I found my design was first I just looked at camping and then I narrowed it down to camping crew. So I hit enter and there are over 1,000 items I can look at. Here's the one I like, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And then because I have the all access membership, I can just download this for free. So I'll click on download. Then I can either go to my download folder or here's where I see my recent downloads. I'll click on that. And let's go ahead and open up the file. All I want is the SVG, but I do want to take the number 13 off of it. I just want it to say Camping Crew. So I'm changing the name, and then I'll drag it to my desktop. We'll go ahead and close out of this. So now let's go ahead and open my Cricut Design Space. I'm going to say New Project, Upload, Upload Image, and then I can either find it on my desktop and I can actually see it right over here, or I could say Browse and go find it. It's still highlighted for me downloading it, so I'm just going to drag it over. Now that it's there, I'll go ahead and say continue. Now I have an exclamation mark, so it's probably too large. Let's see what it says. Okay, it came in huge. And to see the size, I need to click on more, and for the width, I'm going to go with 10 inches. Since the padlock is locked, when I hit enter, the height will change as well. Now one thing I'm already noticing is that this tree has some cutouts in it, and I don't really want to deal with that. So we're going to have to do something to fix that. First thing I want to do is I want to go right here, and I'm going to ungroup my image. Now let's look at the tree. I don't want all those little white pieces cut out. So let's go to Contour, and let's see what happens if I click on Hide All Contours. I feel like that might fix it. Once I've done that, hit the X. Perfect, that's exactly what I want. I'll select everything on the screen, and then I need to click Attach so that it cuts exactly like this. At this time, I'm ready to cut it out. Here's the Caesar Easy Weed Adhesive HTV. Notice you have a rather dull side and then a very shiny side. The shiny side is your carrier sheet, so when you put this on your cutting mat, the shiny side goes down. That's why we had to mirror the image. You're going to cut this part off, weed it out, and then to put it on your shirt, you flip it back over before your press. My cutting mat is almost new, and so to help me place my material down, I'm going to go ahead and use a Teflon sheet. I want to cover over most of this because it is so sticky. I'm going to have an easier time putting my material on with a lot of this covered. Now remember, shiny side down. Now that I have it where I want it, I can go ahead and lift the excess and pull out this Teflon sheet. Now I want to try to get this down as smoothly as possible. So I'm just going to rub it with my hand as I lay it down. Now if you wanted to, you could cut off the excess. I'm just going to leave it attached. I feel like I can save more material, have less waste, if I just cut it and then cut off what I need later. My cutting light's flashing, so I can go ahead and load my material. Remember, this is the fine point blade. I click on this so that the material loads in. Once the C starts flashing, it's ready to cut. I'll just press this. All right, let's go ahead and unload this. And I have a feeling this might be a little bit hard to weed because it's kind of hard to see. To remove my material off of the mat, I'm actually going to flip it upside down and I'm going to peel the mat away from the material. That's how I like to do most of the time when I cut vinyl. So we'll start pulling up on it. That allows your vinyl to stay flat, or relatively flat. I've never had it happen to me, but I have heard that some people pull them back so far that they actually just kind of snap in two, or at least break in two. When you store those cutting mats, make sure you put that protective sheet back on top. That way you don't get a lot of dust and different debris on it. It keeps it sticky for longer. Okay, so I need to figure out where my cut ends. And to me, it's easier for me to be able to tell from the bottom, or what will eventually be the top. Now, I want to be really careful that I don't accidentally cut off part of the design. So I need to figure out where those little circles are. Okay, they're way up here. So I think if I cut straight across, I'm good. So I have my little weeding tool, just like any other HTV. And I'm just going to grab a corner, kind of poke it through, and then try to separate the two layers. Now this is Easy Weed, so I hope it weeds as easily as the other Easy Weed I've used. Again, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where your design is because of this material being somewhat clear. So the material weeds fairly easily. It's just a little bit nerve-wracking that it's hard to tell what you should be weeding. So take your time. All right, I think I'm done. But here's what it looks like so far. So let's go ahead and press this on the shirt. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my shirt. I'm going to preheat it for 2 to 3 seconds just to get some of the moisture out. Actually, I'll probably do it about 10 seconds. While that's heating up, let me show you my little test strip. This is my full experience with this material. And this really isn't t-shirt material, it's more like a canvas, but it's what I had a scrap of. So I preheated the material, then I pressed the HTV on at 275. Per the instructions online, I'm going to do it for 10 seconds. I actually did this just for 5, but I am going to go ahead and do it for 10 seconds. Then this is a hot peel. You lay your foil on, you put it back under the press, put a Teflon sheet over it, and press it for 10 more seconds. And that came out really pretty. So I'm excited to see what this will look like. This is the pad that I use for my HTV Ron auto press. I did not like the pad that came with it. It was too squishy. It just didn't give a lot of good pressure. So I bought a replacement and then I cut the corners down. One thing I like to do when I'm placing a shirt or whatever you're putting on it onto the pad, I like to try to keep the seams off of the pad. Sometimes those bulky seams will make it where your pressure isn't quite as good. So I'm going to go ahead, get the collar off of the pad, and I'm going to try to get these sleeves off of the pad. I'll come down about 3 inches, and right now there's only about 1 inch off of it, so I can go a little bit more. And here's the corners of the pad. So I can do this without having seams on the pad. When you can get away with not having any bulky seams that are getting pressed, that's a good thing. So I'm going to take my design and I'm going to go ahead and fold it so that I can find the center. And then I'm going to make a little crease, not in the heat transfer vinyl itself, but in the carrier sheet. This stuff is very, very sticky. Very sticky. Okay. Well, there's my center there. Let's find it down here. Okay, so I see my creases, and I want to get those about in the center. It looks like I might need to pull this right side down just a little bit. All right, let's smooth that out some. And we are ready to press this. I'm going to press it at 275 for 10 seconds. And it says to use medium to firm pressure. When I did my little sample piece on the HTV Rump press, it did fine. So hopefully this does too. Remember, this is a hot peel, so I'm going to go ahead and peel the carrier sheet off. And it is hard to tell, but I can feel that it's down and I can kind of see it. I was worried about those circles staying down, but they all did. They came off this carrier sheet. Now you can kind of see that. Actually, I can see it better in the camera than I can just with my naked eye. All right, let's smooth these sleeves out. Here's the 2 types of foils that I have. I have the Heidi Swapp mink foil, and I have the foil quill foil. I tried a small piece of each of these on my little test fabric just to make sure that they did work with this process. So I'm going to go ahead and put green over that tree. And you're going to put the foil pretty side up. And I want to make sure I don't accidentally get some of the green foil on the word camping. Okay, now that I have it over there, I'm going to see if it'll stick down at all. And really, not so much. Now I could do one solid thing over the whole shirt. That would make it easy, but I don't want to do that. There's a lot of sheets in here. I think I want to use a purple, a turquoise, and a dark blue. And then over crew, I'm going to use a black foil. Now, when I stood up and I put my head straight over it, it was a lot easier to tell, but you don't want my head in the camera. Now it's time for the black. You need to press this all at one time. You're not going to do multiple presses. And I'm going to lay it over the entire rest of the design. Now when I get back to the press, I might have to rearrange because I've got to carry this to the press. I'm going to do that. I'm going to press it. Then it is a cool peel. So we're going to have to wait for this all to cool down before we can remove the excess. All right, so that's what it looks like so far. I have the pad of the heat press under my shirt. I was afraid it'd fall off as I carried it over here, and I wanted you to see what it looked like. So let me go ahead and remove that so this will cool down more quickly. All right, it is not hot, but everything that I've seen, everything I've read said, let it cool all the way down. Now it looks like I accidentally pulled it up right there and it's stuck, but I'm going to let this have just a few minutes to go all the way off. If you're in a hurry to get it to cool down, you can put a tile over it. You could flip it over and rub it against your cold surface. Let's see how that did. All right, that feels pretty darn cold. Okay, I am nervous. Nervous. I want this to turn out really cute. All right, let's pull it off. That's pretty cute. Now, it does look a little bit distressed because it didn't stick down everywhere. Let me show you what I'm talking about. See how there's some color still in there? And I'm going to guess that is due to not having enough pressure. I probably should have used my conventional heat press where I can really adjust the pressure, but I'm still going to wear it. It looks cute. I'll rip that one off. I have the same issue across all the colors, but it's really pretty other than that. I kind of had some blue on this hem. I didn't want that, but I did. So am I happy with this? Not perfectly happy because I would have liked to have been more solid colors, but it is super cute. I can try it again and I'll try it on my regular heat press that time. Super cute other than that. Let me know if you've tried this. Did yours have these spots in it like mine did? I think before I get off the video, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my traditional press. I'll find an old t-shirt or something and I will really adjust the pressure down and see if that helps. So I cut the design out again, but this time I made it a little bit smaller because it's going on a smaller shirt. I also got rid of the tree. After weeding the design, I adjusted the pressure on my traditional heat press, making sure I would have nice firm pressure. After that, I pre-pressed my shirt at 300 degrees for 15 seconds. At this time, I was ready to add the adhesive HTV. I pressed it for 10 seconds, also at 300 degrees using firm pressure. This time, I used rose gold foil over the entire design, which was so much easier than placing the individual sheets. Then I pressed it for 10 seconds, also at 300 degrees, and also using that same firm pressure. Now it's time to wait for the shirt to cool all the way down. Okay, the moment of truth. Did having higher pressure, plus I bumped up the temperature to 300, did that make a difference? Well, let's see. Well, I'm not sure it did make a difference. I still see some of the pieces stuck in there. Maybe not as large, maybe not as many. Let's hold this up, see what it looks like. That is really, really pretty. Now, there are still some missing pieces. I think that maybe having the dark background hides it a little bit. So if you do this process, consider doing it on a darker shirt. If you have something that works for you that didn't work for me, let me know what that is. Or have you had this happen? Let me know that as well. Despite that it happened, even if it happens to you, do you like the outcome? I really like it on this one. I like it a little bit less on this one just because you see the lightness of the shirt coming through. It is cute. I'm going to wear it. I'm not sure how many times I'll use this process though. Now after 24 hours, I'll wash and dry these and I'll post something in my Facebook and probably I'll make a YouTube post as well. I'll let you know how they laundered. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And until my next video, bye-bye.